like when the jaws right closed, the missus was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm going to need some time. And it's one of those, like, I stared at like the window. It was like a little raining. And I was just like, I don't know. Do I go on? Is this the end for me?
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Guys, welcome back. Another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. I got myself here, Lance. I got there, Mr. John. Just your buddy always.
Hi. How you doing? Who's this fucking guy?
I was going to say, and of course, Mr. Tyler Nichols.
Yeah.
Hey, big
Hello, all three, huh? What was the last time? Was it Halloween 5?
Scream 4.
Scream 4. Oh, yeah,
great movie. Great movie.
That was a rough one for me. All right. Hopefully this one goes better, man. Woo. Okay, well, I guess let's get down to brass tacks. We'll save the pleasantries for the video here. What are you guys drinking? I guess I'll start with John because,
let's be polite. I mean, Big T's showing up.
Okay, sure. Hi.
Okay, well, I've got vodka and 7-Up, vodka 7, very simple, because I wanted a drink that I would have on the beach, and this is what I would have on the beach, so figured that's perfect. John, what about you?
What I would have on the beach, Jack Daniels hidden in a whatever the fuck this is, Incognito.
Well, I just think you're drinking coffee. It's like,
Exactly,
it's just the water. Yeah.
What about you, Lancey boy?
I had to be a little creative today, so I have a little white rum mixed in with a bit of triple sec and a Red Bull. So it's
okay. You're tired these days, what?
I mean, estoy cansado always, but I need a little pick me up. Pick me up. I was up early working out, getting this type of little belly in shape.
Working out, eh?
I'm trying.
Oh, I got it. You got it.
Big,
right?
huh?
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
To all of you.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
And of course, Sean, and I guess Tyler, because you're up there.
Well, you're here, yeah.
I guess.
In spirit. We have a message that we got from and they have a name this time, Mr. Joseph Davis.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, John and Lance. My name is Joe Davis. I'm just leaving you a quick message for a recommendation. The 2004 movie Highwaymen, starring Jim Caviezel, directed by Robert Harmon, who did The Hitcher. Scream Factory just released a brand new Blu-ray of it, and this movie is badass. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. You probably have, but it would be a good episode in the future. But also, I really love your guys' show, and I love your guys' work. I will continue to watch. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.
It's funny that I remember this trailer, but there's a lot of random stuff that I haven't seen. Though it has Mr. Linoge from Storm of the Century, and obviously Ron Mitra from...
That's the one I'm more interested in.
Well, I always think of course, Hollow Man. It is what it is.
I think of Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday. She was badass.
No, she was beautiful in Hollow Man. But John, have you guys seen this?
Hey, Joe. Yeah, no, I've seen Highwayman with Jim Caviezel, directed, of course, by Robert Harmon, who directed The Hitcher. I actually enjoyed it at the time. I remember this a long time ago, 2004. I remember the last act kind of let me down, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll pop Lance's cherry on the movie, and we're going to cover it eventually. So no worries.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever even heard of it, so I'll have to check it out. It sounds interesting.
It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'll watch anything that Rona Mitra's in. So
there you go. Hey, guys and dolls, once again, we do have a 888 number, and the number is, you're going to see me read it right now. Look at it. 888-39277-69. So give us a call, comments, questions, not too much ball breaking. Good to go. Thank you. Well, look, guys, it's summertime, right? So we all figured what better movie to cover during this summer season, and then not Jaws, but Jaws 2, directed by, who's got it? He's got a fucked up name.
I mean, it's Jeannot
Szwarc.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Is it French? It sounds French.
Yeah, it is French. And he also directed Supergirl with Helen Slater. Yeah.
How did you both know that? That's wild.
Jaws 2, man. What year was that? That was
1978.
78. My God. That's a while back. So did you guys revisit it for this little shebang?
Unfortunately, twice.
Unfortunately. Oh.
Yes.
We
Unfortunately.
not have a fan. Really?
I should set up right away. Jaws is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I did not like this movie until it finally gets going about an hour and 10 minutes in.
The last 35 minutes.
I enjoyed that part, but I find the first... I timed it. It's 69 minutes until the shark finally starts going after the sailboats. Yeah, 69. So it's way too long. And I don't know. I got so bored during that first hour.
I will give you that. That's one of my qualms with it. Usually Lance and I start with, the positives and then go in the negatives. I guess we'll do the opposite because Big T's in the house. There's a lot of filler. Like, for example, like montages of which feel like an eternity of people at the beach. They're at the beach. And I'm like, okay, I get it. They're at the fucking beach. I don't need 20 minutes of it. I got it. There's a lot of filler in it. And in terms, actually, for me, when the movie's on land, that's when it suffers. Except for Roy Scheider. Roy Scheider really elevates the whole thing. He has a beautiful scene with Lorraine Gary. When they're together, the chemistry is still there. From the first film, their chemistry is still there. They have a beautiful scene where he's hammered, and she's kind of trying to console him, or, I thought that was really nice. So every time Scheider was on screen, on land, I was in. Every time Scheider was off screen, on land, didn't really give a flying fuck.
Did you love the part too where Roy Scheider is cutting into bullets and adding cyanide with and then he's dropping candle wax on it?
Hey man, he's Ramboing that shit, man. He's ready for that shark, bro.
Which I just love how sloppy it is.
He's MacGyvering that shit. Give him a break.
I was going to say, I think the only issue is I don't think a bullet can really pierce a shark's, especially a great white's skin well enough. So I don't know how to plan that. But I like the idea because I was like, I didn't remember that at all. That he's carving in it, or no, he doesn't carve. He's just he's dumping in. He's sealing in. I was like, this is a shark movie, or is he gonna go kill the mayor?
They show a lot of it too. Where I was like, oh, we're gonna see each individual bullet.
You're right. There are some. That's it. Filler. It feels like filler. The movie is almost 2 hours. I think
20 minutes can be X. I'll agree. Yeah. I mean, I think we're on the same page. I go back and forth on how much it bothers me depending on my mood. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't care as much. I was always a little bored, but I felt that I just liked Scheider enough that I was willing to go through with it. On this watch that I did yesterday, I was a little grumpier. I think I just had a lot on my mind, so I was a little more bored. I was like, guys, come on. The first, I think a good indication is that I love the mayor. I love Vaughn, right? Because he's a slimy. He reminds me of my hometown. It's good. Cheat, steal, lie. That's how we should do it. Backroom deals. But there's this whole banquet thing, and it's the first 15 minutes. I'm like, guys. It's I get it, but fucking move on. But I agree, John, 100%. Though I think Scheider sells a lot. Yeah, and he's because he's the return character. He has that. He's also still stressed, and I love it. He should be a man at peace. He saw death and beat it, and he's just so angry. I'm like, good. Even before the shark, he's like, I'm like, good, Scheider.
Well, that's Scheider. You guys know. I'm sure he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he was forced to.
Contract.
Dude, he so did not want to do it that at some point he pretended he was insane to get out of contract. I'm certifiably insane. I can't do the movie. Sorry, guys, but it didn't pan out, and he had to do it. So I'm pretty sure a lot of his grumpiness comes from the actor himself saying, "Dude, I don't want to do this shit." But
can we give credit that makes a better part because he's it means he doesn't want to act, but he's so intense in his hatred that it comes through as really good acting, and I'm like, this is great. Yeah, no, I mean you're right, but I mean when it's not him, when it's the kids. This time, especially, and again, I think it's just my mood. I'm busy, so I was like, "Oh my god!" Besides the guy from Christine, and obviously the amazing Back to School with the best cameo by Sam Kinison. Outside of that guy, just because I like him, I was like, "Let's kill the cute blonde. Let's kill the puffy haired guy." These guys need to go. They're they're sending these guys too much.
Puffy haired guy. They're all puffy haired guys. Everybody's got a white fro going on in this movie.
Somebody even called me on that because I was like, "Shit!" As I said that, I was like. Oh, there's more. Which one is it? Is it the redhead? Is it the guy that was trying to get laid with the blanket? Fair enough. But those kids sucked.
They do. But you know what? This is actually the one thing I do like about the movie. Yeah, the kids suck. But
they kill them.
It's using the slasher movie motif, if you will, structure. You have these stupid kids that want to party. They want to, going on a boat. You got a bunch of bikinis, a bunch of white froze. You got the shark who gets half his face burned, who looks, especially in the last, at first they suggest him, but in the last act when, Jaws goes to town, you see him, he's like the Phantom of the fucking Opera shark, and then he whacks everybody, one by one. And what I liked about the sequel, he's a pissed off shark. He ain't playing, man. This motherfucker's dragging down choppers underwater, man. Choppers.
That's the best part. That's like but when he takes Eddie and he rams him into the boat, I was like, okay.
He rams him in the boat, crashing through fucking shit, dragging a chopper underwater. And by the way, I must mention the chopper pilot, his beard
is amazing.
Was of epicness that will be remembered to this day.
If he's not building barns on his time off, then he's missing his opportunity in life.
Seriously. So I like that about the movie. I like that it kind of took a different direction than the original, where it's very, suspense driven and hiding the shark mostly because of, technical issues, as we all know. But in the second one, he's like, let's go to town, man. Let's crank it up. And even though now and then the shark looks like, the shark at Universal.
Now and then, always.
I don't know. I was involved enough to go with it. I went with it, man. There was a lot of impressive, again, the last 35 minutes, really impressive suspense, kill, action set pieces. Like really fucking impressive, man. And I was like, whoa, look at this motherfucker. He cranked it up Supergirl style. So
Eddie's death is fantastic because that girl reacting to it, where she is just gobsmacked. Yeah, that's my favorite death in the movie and favorite performance too. I love that. That girl is just stellar. Completely sells it. There was one girl who I liked when she was first introduced because they're at like the bar and she says something of like,
do you always do what your parents tell you to?
No.
Good, then I'll be at the dock at 8.
Like, I enjoyed that, but then she becomes this screaming mess by the end. It's Jackie, by the way, if you recognize the name, because she's the only girl at the end that is just nonstop screaming. She's on the boat with Sean.
You got a shark up your ass. I don't know if you'd be chilling like a villain, but that's just me, I know I'd be. No, actually, I'd play it cool. Like, yeah, shark, yeah. It's all good. All right, let me look at my list. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, I was going to say, so this is, I think, something that I'll always love. And it's not just about this movie. It's 1, 2, and 4 specifically, because I hate 3 with all my life, is even at its worst, I love the look of a real physical object in the ocean, not on a water tank. We're not at a backlot. Like that, like there's a scene, and I think it's basically just a copy of the scene from the boat of the first one, where the blonde girl, she's warning her boyfriend Eddie, and it's an overhead chart, and the shark overhead shot, and the shark, and you can see the whole body going under the boat, and that kind of stuff. Even right now, knowing it's fake, it's like just that thing being in the water makes me a little bit nervous. And I agree, it looks kind of like a Universal ride, but I also love the Universal ride. So part of me is like, yeah, because Universal ride uses essentially this.
Yeah. It's the same design.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about Orlando. I've never been to the one in California, but I will say that, flaws aside, every time I see the shark in the water, 1 or 4 or 3, even at its worst, I still just think it invokes something that CGI never will, because me thinking let's say I'm in a fucking surfboard, let's say I'm in anything, a kayak, and that thing is anywhere near me, what do you do except just pray? There's nothing you can do except just, sorry, I have like a weird deep fear of things in the ocean. It's like that.
No,
gets me real quick.
After watching the original Jaws.
Yes. Yeah, I think it really screwed like generations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a kid in the 80s and I'm scared.
Well, and there's one thing that happens because we really focused on like the second hour of the movie. There's one thing in the first act that I really liked as a kid, but this time the stupidity of it just made me laugh so much. The blonde lady in the boat is so fucking stupid. She straight up pours kerosene all over herself before firing a flare at the shark. I was just like, what are you doing? Your boat is still functioning. Just get out of there. Just drive off.
Touche.
I forgot that as well, actually. I put it in my good because it's so bad. It's so stupid that I'm like, but it also makes the shark, like, it gets scars him. So I was like, okay. But you're right, though. She actually pours it on herself. I was like, oh, she's going to kill herself. But I think it was just because the boat was rocking.
Is that what you?
Yeah, because it's been a while. I haven't upgraded, so I was like, oh shit, is this like she's so scared she'd rather die? I was like, that's that's dark. But then I realized that I think it was an accident, but she still lit the flare, and then the shark just takes them both down and then just kind of swims away. So I was like, you know what? I can't put in my negative. I can't,
When anybody is put in a very stressful, life or death situation, obviously the thing that you should do is try to keep calm and stay rational and deal with it. And that's how you save your own ass. Obviously, this broad, didn't read that memo. So she just panicked. That's the way I read the scene. She just panicked. Oh, she got gasoline. And even when she aimed the thing, I'm like, are you aiming it at the boat? And then she fucking barbecues. I did laugh out loud. I'll give you that, Big T.
No.
I laughed out loud, but I kind of understand how that happened just because human beings are human beings. We all panic. And
I'm going to take it that she hated her life and it just was done. That was it.
That's the last well-check version. Yeah, that's funny.
There's a dark backstory to her. She lost her husband's money in some sort of gambling debt. And she's trying to get her daughter happy, but her daughter's just eaten by a shark. And she's like, fuck it. I ain't going back.
Well, and you said too that you watched the DVD version, right? So
yeah, I haven't seen the HD version yet.
I watched the HD version and I was shocked at the number of times you can see other boats when they're supposed to be alone, that then you can see a boat in the horizon that then you wouldn't have been able to see on TV or VHS, DVD. But now in HD, I'm like, oh crap, there's a boat right there. It was happening so much where I was just like, why don't you guys flag that boat now?
I didn't notice that. I didn't see the HD version. One thing I want to bring up, I don't know if I was tripping balls, but it kind of hinted at what Jaws the Revenge wound up doing, this time it's personal. Because the first kill is at the shipwreck of the Orca, which is the boat from the original. And then after that, the way I was reading it, the shark is not killing people because he's hungry. No, he's killing people because he wants to get Brody back in the fucking water. That's the way I read it. Because he's going out of his fucking way to be he's killing people he's like Jason Voorhees' version of a shark. He's going out of his way to be an ass, like the chick that's water skiing, and which, by the way, resulted in the poster, which for me has been stamped in my brain since I was a kid, because that's a very iconic poster of, the girl in the bikini on water skiing and the shark right behind. Mm-hmm. The scene actually didn't do the poster justice. But, why does he take her down? Oh, because why not? Fuck it. He's not hungry. He doesn't eat her. So for me, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, you know what? That shark's trying to get fucking Brody in the water. That was my reading of it. Am I tripping?
I could see that. I mean, I didn't remember it actually starting off at the Orca.
The camera that takes.
But I don't remember the Orca. I remember it being a boat. For some reason, I was like, oh, it's tying. It's a direct tie. That to me proves your point, though. Because that's the first thing it does, and just takes those guys down. So to me, I was like, oh, it is part of me is either it's revenge or it's one of those kind of weird things where you pretend the shark never died in the first one, where they just pretend it lived. It's one of those, but you're right, though. It almost makes it seem like if the shark didn't continue, somebody is taking care of his debts. And I was like, that's, I don't know how I never remembered the Orca, or, maybe just life is stressful. But I thought that was interesting. I thought, okay, that's more of a revenge tie than the fourth, Yeah. That's a direct, no, motherfucker, I'm back right at the spot you left me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the way I read it. And by the way, as an aside, I love that whole, although it led to shit that pissed me off, but the whole motif of the pictures. I like saying the word motif, by the way, go with it. Where he finally develops the pictures and you see that. And I thought it was pretty fucking cool. It happened an hour in, but it could happen the first act. But I thought it was pretty fucking cool. But then it led to what I really hated. Probably my biggest peeve of the movie outside of the filler. Nobody believes Brody.
Yeah.
Nobody believes him. This motherfucker told you the first movie the whole time. There's a shark. Nah, it's all good. And then he's right. So now it happens again. Dude, there's a shark. I got a fucking picture. Nah. And I felt like that went on for a very long time. Let's not believe Brody to serve the plot. And I found it incredibly annoying.
They fire him.
Yeah. They justify it too. They have a whole scene where he thinks he saw a shark and makes a big deal. And then where everyone just looks at him like, you dumbass.
Bullets at the ocean.
Yeah. We have it's a good point though. There was an extended scene where we see the litigation of them talking to him, going in the back room, letting him wait there, then they fire him. I'm like, okay. I think you're right. Part of me is I kind of want to go pick up this movie and and take out just little chunks. That's a good example of a line of dialogue, but I actually saw the entire process, and he sits down and he waits,
Well, when we talk about favorite lines of dialogue, there is something that I've never caught until this time that it's easily my favorite shot of the movie. Lorraine Gary just gets dropped off after leaving Hooper. Because they get Mike, they're able to snag Mike on the boat, and so they're brought back to land. And Lorraine Gary says,
"All I know is a boy is dead and my son and husband are still out there." And
then she turns and goes and stares out at the water, where it's just like the most melodramatic, and then it's just like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna stare out and hope that you see them. It was just like that kind of stuff where it's such unintentionally funny moments that I turned around on this by like partway through, but just in that I started seeing the pairing with it and Jaws the Revenge more than the first Jaws. So I started having more fun with it after that.
Funnily enough, you mentioned that in the earlier drafts of the Jaws 2 script, Lorraine Gary does get on a boat and get out there to go look for her kids and her husband. So maybe that scene is a bit of a leftover from the prior scene. Somebody in the production, maybe a producer, I forgot who, said, no, we're not going to put the broad on a boat. They go out. We're not going to do that. And of course, that's what they wound up doing in Jaws 4. But in Jaws 2, initially she was supposed to get out there. So I know the scene you're talking about. So maybe it's a leftover that, The movie needed a nice little re-edit.
I was going to say real quick, talking about favorite lines, I thought you were going to say when the guys at the dock and I forgot, they're a bunch of dudes, right? I think that the dorkiest dude was trying to get this other guy to talk to this girl. And he goes, and this like really heavy New York accent, "Yeah, she goes, she has tits like a sparrow." And I was like, "What?" I wrote it down. 1401, tits like a sparrow. I was like, I don't know what that means. What does a sparrow look like? Is it like a beak? I sat there for like a good 6 seconds, like,
hey, they're perky, like a beak.
But it was like an insult. Like I don't want to talk to that girl. She has tits like a sparrow. You should have been like, "Ooh, tits like a sparrow." If we got over there, I don't know. I don't remember that line and thought I'd bring it up here in case you guys had a discussion of what that meant, because I don't
know what it means.
Tits of a sparrow. That's amazing.
I need
to start using that.
Yeah,
let me put up a picture of a sparrow right now. Here you go. And guys and dolls, now having seen what a sparrow looks like, can you explain to us what tits like a sparrow mean?
She got tits like a sparrow.
The succulent breasts.
I wrote it down. I couldn't tell. I think it was negative, but fair enough.
Well, I'll end up with my last. Man, it sucks because it feels like we're shitting on the movie, but actually, it's my favorite Jaws sequel, and I really enjoy it. And when the movie rocks, it rocks. But yeah, there are some issues. But I always had the trouble with the ending, the way that Brody dispatches of the shark. With the power line that they establish early on, and don't make sense, say which is kind of like a remage of the ending of the first one, smile, you son of a bitch. Now it's say smile, open wide, say whatever. Don't they have rocket launchers? Wouldn't that be like an easier way to dispatch of a shark as opposed to that there's an accidental power line and now I got to tap in there? Just bring, there's a shark. All right, give me the rocket launcher. Let's go out to sea. I'll take care of that shit old school. No?
You have a problem with that, but you don't have a problem with Brody coming up to the island and then immediately crashing the boat into the island.
Oh, nobody's perfect, not even Brody.
Well, I don't. Okay, well, I'm just saying it's funny because that's actually a part that I love most because it's the most like schlocky and cool. It doesn't make any sense, but I guess I thought about this actually. I thought about if I had to kill a shark, right? If I had like the means to do it, I would just poison a bunch of meat and put that in the ocean, let it eat it, and then it would just die.
I get cyanide bullets, bro.
Yeah, but why shoot something? It's going to eat it. It's just going to eat the meat. Just poison the meat, cyanide the meat. I guess shoot the meat. But I don't know. I liked it. I think it's stupid.
You could use the bullets still. I did these bullets, so fuck it. I'm going to shoot the meat.
I don't know. It reminds me of the theme park ride. Maybe that's why I like it because I really do equate. I was like a little kid at Universal Studios, so like I relate this. Like when the Jaws ride closed, the missus was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm gonna need some time." And it's one of those like I stared at like the window. It was like a little raining, and I was just like, "I don't know. Do I go on?" is this the end for me? You know.
But I think, just to clarify for myself, it's back in Orlando, right? The Jaws.
No, they removed it for
California.
But California's not real. That's like no. I always think of the California Disneyland and Universal Studios. It's like, yeah, but go to the real one. Like, why would you want the appetizer when there's the meal? But it's gone in Orlando, and that was the real one as far as I'm concerned. So, you know. And
the Psycho House is also gone in Orlando, I think.
Psycho House, Back to the Future, Terminator 2, Hitchcock Presents. Universal's dead. People are like, oh, it's like, no heart, no soul. Once Jaws is gone, I walked away. It's like, I'm not going back.
Yeah, no, good call. Actually, that's, you know, Psycho House and Jaws are two things, in my opinion, you shouldn't touch.
No.
Wherever the fuck you are.
Build around it.
Or iconic, you know, I mean. But I think they still have both here in Cali.
All right, what about you about the ending? Tal, do you like it or not?
Me?
No, tell you. I know what you feel. I like it, but the end.
So
there's
one thing about the ending that I think is awesome, and that is that Roy Scheider's character is always so inept in terms of anything out on the water. So I love that his plan is throwing a rope over to them that's like weighed down by a anchor, because he doesn't think of like, oh yeah, that's gonna drag and catch on something, which then of course it sets up him being able to snag the cable. But if it had been any other character, I would have been like, what the fuck? You should know better than this. But with him, since he's so inept on the sea, I'm just like, I like that. Though, I will say too, because you brought up the whole slasher thing.
Yeah.
There's way too many fucking people that survive at the end of this movie. Way too many.
I think he makes a point, actually. I think he does.
I didn't look up the kill count. Okay,
there's a lot of I mean, they're all interchangeable. Like, I don't, like you said before, other than the Christine dude.
And they all have the same hair. You're right.
Yeah, the puffy hair. Yeah, I guess there are.
That girl, isn't that girl the only person outside of Eddie that dies on the sail, like as far as part of the sailboating groups?
You might be right.
It's that girl that saves Sean, that then the shark comes up behind.
You know the people's names. I respect that.
I know. I got girl and puffy hair guy.
Yeah. So, well, I will say too, I watched this a month ago in preparation for this, and then we were finally recording where I was like, I forgot that movie. I need to rewatch it.
I watched yesterday, and I know Mayor Vaughn. That's all I got.
And you know, that guy shot his scenes like boom, 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 like really fast, because his wife was going through a cancer thingo, and he wanted there with her. Yeah. Okay.
I'm all sad now. It's like, I like the mayor. Oh, poor guy. I mean, I'll say this in my closing. You know, overall, I like it. Though, like I said, the first hour, I go kind of back and forth. This last time, I was a little more annoyed by it. I do think now that I edit, I would like to see if I could, you know, polish this up myself, just as like an experiment. But I have such a hatred for part 3 that every issue I have with this, I would take in a heartbeat, because 3 is such a bad movie. The point where, like, even when I was annoyed as shit by this, a part of me is like, but isn't number 3? Relax. And I was like, okay, myself. Yes.
I haven't seen 3 in like probably 20 years. So I feel like I'm so curious.
The first hour. Okay. Imagine the first hour only on Xanax. That's the entire third movie. Where it's like, oh, there's a shark coming. It's like, don't show it. Just hit it.
Except all of the shark moments in that are just terrible. At least in this one, we get some like fun shark moments, but in that it's just like, wait, what? Slowly coming towards camera.
Yeah. And like
part three pulled off quite the coup in terms of taking a really exciting premise. Where the shark sneaks into an amusement park, like a water park. SeaWorld, basically. Yeah. And make it the most fucking boring thing that ever fucking lived. It's something. Bravo.
Maybe that's why I hate it so much, is because it is actually a concept that could be so cool. Yeah. You could have orcas and dolphins fighting Jaws, but instead it's like, well, just shoot it at night and make sure that there's never a wide shot of the shark, except for in fucking claymation or whatever.
And his Quaid was hammered the entire shoot, by the way.
I heard, but I mean, he wasn't fun hammered. He was like sad hammered. You know,
and coke, a lot of coke on that movie.
And man's gonna relax, you know.
Man's got to relax, right?
Maybe mixed with fucking Valium. I watched it a few years ago, and I was like, man, everybody's like on like 2. Even who's got Junior?
Junior.
Yeah, he's like on 5. He's just like, hey guys, we gotta open the park.
Remember when he went for the Oscar in The Punisher? That's what I was looking for in Jaws 3.
We're gonna go back to the Punisher. It was great. The Punisher.
Let me in.
Yeah.
Let me in.
Well, his partner's broken. Yeah. No passion.
All right. Well, look, guys and dolls, Jaws 2, which, by the way, I know it sounds like, from my perspective, anyways, that I've been reaming into it, but no, I actually really enjoy the movie. I love it. It has its problems, but it's one of my go-to summer movies. I just, when it hits, it hits. When it misses, it misses. But when it hits big. And how else are you going to follow up fucking Jaws? You know, I mean, the sequel is actually better than it's allowed to be, in my opinion. About you guys and dolls. Jaws 2, yay, nay, in the middle. When's the last time you saw it? Chomp the comments below. See that? You see what I did? And let us know. Anything else? Final words, boys and boys?
I swear I don't hate the movie that much. It's just apparently I apologize if I made this a much more negative show than it would have been otherwise.
The quote is going to be Tyler Nichols hates Jaws 2.
That's what everyone's going to say in the comments. They're just going to be like, why does Tyler hate this movie so much?
All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time. It's empty, but, cheers.
She got tits like a sparrow.